Joining us right now, the former White House press secretary in the Clinton administration, Dee Dee Myers. She's also the author of a brand new book entitled Why Women Should Rule the World. Also joining us, Republican strategist Bae Buchanan. Guys, thanks very much for coming in.
You know, I think experience is important. It's very good to have. It's an asset. Although if you have too much of it, it also can turn around and bite you because you have a long record.
Because in '92, when Dee Dee was helping Bill Clinton, he was a former governor of Arkansas with virtually no foreign policy experience.
Right, exactly.
And the incumbent president was a vice president for 8 years, president for 4 years, former head of the CIA, UN ambassador.
Absolutely.
He had a ton of experience, but the American people in '92 said not that important.
And they want to change.
Exactly. But it's not just change that Obama is giving them, and I think that's key. He has tapped into something that is remarkable in the sense that he touches hearts, motivates people, energizes them to get out and have a reason to belong to this cause that he's basically leading. And that is something that's very, very difficult to stop. And just saying, well, he doesn't have experience isn't going to do it.
Okay, let's talk about John McCain. The fallout from that flap the other day in Cincinnati when that conservative radio talk show host, William Cunningham, introduced him, said some ugly things about Barack Obama in the process, and then McCain wasted no time in blasting the radio talk show host. There's been political fallout. What's going to be, if any, the long-term fallout?
I think what is significant is not his battle with Cunningham per se, but the fact that you have here a real hardened conservative, a guy that has a real following out there, 24 years on radio, and he's very respected, even though he is a bit of, someone that speaks, very, very strongly sometimes. And there was no necessity for John McCain to say anything, and if he had to say something, if he felt the need, he could say, listen, I'm delighted to have his support. The guy was real bold, went out there, and he's a conservative, he's gone out there to support me, and he says some things I don't agree with, but those are his words, they're not my words, but I'm delighted to have him. He didn't have to offend the guy.
He repudiated him in strong terms.
And that sends a message to conservatives that John McCain, if you support him, is not going to fight for you. Don't make any mistakes, because John McCain's going to cut you off at the legs.
That's not just a mistake. I mean, that was really appealing to the worst instincts in people, and I think McCain did absolutely the right thing to repudiate him and say, my campaign is not going to be about this.
What did he say?
Well, he
used his middle name. Oh my gosh!
Why did he use his middle name?
Why can't he use his middle name?
Why did he?
He used it because it is his middle name, and we are allowed to use the man's middle name.
No,
it's given to his mother, for heaven's sakes.
Why?
Because it's an interesting point. You know what's interesting is the media on this. I find enormous hypocrisy in the fact that it's okay for a guy like Huckabee to go out and stir up all kinds of anger and against Mormons, and then for the media to step in and say, do you think your religion is going to be a key player? Do you think this is an important... They talk to him about his religion, ask Mitt Romney to defend his religion, and then do polls. All these polls that say, do you think Mormons believe...
Your point, Dee Dee, is by saying Hussein, which is his middle name, he was trying to... what?
Trying to suggest that somehow Barack Obama is other than he's not an American, he might be a Muslim, all those things. That's exactly what he's trying to suggest.
That he has Muslim in his blood. Is that a legitimate position as his father is Muslim? I think it's not. I think the fact that Mitt Romney is Mormon is not.
And John McCain says it's not. And the media.
So we're not allowed to use his middle name? I think it's a legitimate concern of a lot of Americans, and we certainly. Who tells us that we can't use the guy's middle? Is Barack Obama want to say, I want to distance myself from my middle name. I don't want to ever use it again. I don't want anybody to say it.
What's the point of bringing up the middle name? I still don't understand.
Why can we not? It is part of who he is.
What is part of who he is?
His name.
But what does it suggest about who he is? He was born in the United States of America. He's an American citizen and a Christian.
No,
they do suggest otherwise.
Everybody calls him Barack Obama. They don't go out of their way to call him Barack Hussein Obama.
Somebody said today he has a European view of foreign policy.
Hey, hold on a second. We got to go, but quickly. What's your middle name?
My middle name Marie, but you know what?
But we don't call you Bae Marie Buchanan.
You can, but you know.
Dee Dee, your middle name is Dee. It's Dee Dee.
Exactly.
All right.
People call me by Dee Dee all the time.
Pete DuPont ran as Pete DuPont, and you know what we called him? Pierre, because we were convinced that people wouldn't vote for Pierre, and he laughed about it, and others laughed about it, and he kept going back to Pete. It's part of a campaign, for heaven's sakes. And Barack Obama, he's proud of that middle name, and he should be able to be willing to talk about it if others want to raise it.
We got to leave it right there.
It's time for the media to start talking.
We got to leave it right there, but it's good that Dee Dee Myers and John McCain agree.
Yes.
On that point. And you know who else agrees with John McCain on that? Donna Brazil. She was here in the Situation Room.
She
said exactly what you said.
Of course, the media does, and the Democrats and the liberals all agree.
Thanks very much.
Doesn't leave much room for Republicans.
And John McCain.
Bae Buchanan, Dee Dee Myers.
Thank you all.
Dee Dee's got a new book, Why Women Should Rule the World.